Hi, I'm Monty McKinnon. Thank you for joining me today. What I'm doing here is what we refer to, as you'll see here, let me show you. We refer to this as driving the bus. Remember the bus drivers with the big wheel going back and forth? And I do this in order to level down both sides of the guitar because we've put linings like this all around here, and the lining goes on the side of the guitar, and so it comes in straight here. My hands are shaking a lot today, so it comes in straight. So if this is the top, it's coming in like this. The problem with that is that the top is actually coming in exaggerated like this. So you can see that it's not going to fit properly. So what people will do is they will just press the clamp harder to, in effect, take this and bend this so that it comes in flat and then kind of comes up on a dome. What this is doing here is it's putting a slope on here equivalent to what will be on the top, because what I have here are the radius dishes that we use when we build the top and the back and we put all the spikes on, and you get to see that. These are simply those radius dishes, and I've got two of them, and I glued them together, and then I put sandpaper in each side, and then I made sure that I marked which one was the top and which one was the back, so when I'm doing the top, I'm actually putting the proper radius on the top. So the top of the guitar is going to be on this side here, on the actual sides of the guitar is sloped like this, so when the top comes in, it's going to be a perfect join like that. So when I glue it, it's going to hold the guitar together, and there'll never be anything that will separate that. Now, that's that little piece of heaven that we do to do this. Some people actually have that on a motorized situation, which I have not done at this point because I don't do enough of these. If I was doing more, I would do that. Now, what I want to show you next is how do you cut all the kerfing. Let me just show you the kerfing. Here's a piece of kerfing that I made. This is a blank piece, and it's chamfered on the one edge, just so that for aesthetics more than anything, because people play the guitar, they don't spend all their time looking inside the guitar. But when they do, I want it to be nice and neat and look good. So what we do is we cut all of these slots in here, and the reason is for bendability, to be able to allow that to bend in and around this radius. Now, on this particular guitar, I soaked this with some water just under the tap, dried it off immediately, and you put it on, you can put it on the outside like this and clamp it so it dries and takes the shape of what you're actually going to want. So when you put it in, it doesn't break and crack, and it looks better and it holds better. So we've done that all around here, and on the back side, we didn't have one breakage anywhere on this guitar at all. Now, is that all that important? No, because we are going to add reinforcement pieces around the guitar sides, and you'll see me do that shortly. But let me take you over to the table saw and show you what this looks like and how you set the table saw up to cut this. This will save you a lot of money if you just buy basswood and then make a strip and then either cut it on an angle with the table saw or with a plane or with a router. You can do any of that, and then we'll run this through the saw, and I'll show you that right now. So let's head over there. So here we are at the table saw, and I want to show you a real neat jig. This is the one we use for cutting the kerfing, which goes around the perimeter of the guitar. This is a cross-cut jig. It's meant for doing cross-cuts where when the fence is up against something, it won't bind, because you can slide this and go back and forth and the cut actually takes place here. Now, the way this jig was made is this is a sheet of plywood, one sheet, and you then screw in these two rails, and these are all countersunk. Now, the way I did these rails are the exact width of what these little grooves are in the table saw. So I made these first, set them into the groove here, placed my plywood on here, and I glued it to those rails. I made sure I was square from the edge here with the plywood. This is a handle. I planned to put one here. I don't know why I didn't. I just never got around to it. Now, what you do is you bring this back, you start your table saw, and you run your saw, and you just cut right through here. But you do not cut all the way through your 2x3 here, and in this case, on this side, it's a 2x2, because those pieces here and here are what's holding now the plywood, because it's now cut in two pieces. So it's not going anywhere because it's screwed into these. The key jig here for this is this piece right here. By moving this along, you can make these kerfs as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. So you just simply put one there, set it in place, take the clamps, and I clamp it fairly close to the top, but I like to get it down just above the wood here. By the way, the table saw is not plugged in, just in case somebody wants to ask me that. So just take the first one, push it up against the nail, run your cut, then take this cut would be your first cut right here. Take that, put that over top of the nail, and then cut the next piece. Put that over top, and then cut the next piece. Now when you cut it, let's assume we've been cutting a little bit of this. You're holding this, you've got the blade spinning, you go past the blade. Take this, pick it up, bring it back, and then carefully put it into the next one. Slide it over, pick it up, bring it back. This worked perfectly, and it went all around our new build, and it had no problem doing that whatsoever. Now, speaking of a new build, we're going to do two builds. This is the Les Paul. I bought this as a kit because I simply wanted to make a pattern off of all of this and see where everything was so that I could make my own pattern. Meanwhile, what we're going to do is we're going to finish this, and we're going to do this at the same time as we do the other guitar. So you've got this coming up in future episodes. Okay, we're back at the guitar. Now, one of the other things I want to show you, because I'm preparing this in advance, so this all goes a little faster than what we did the last time. Over here, I have another little simple jig. Now, I'm going to undo this, and you'll run this through the table saw all the way along here like this. The width of the blade is the same as what we've got here. I then put wax paper into the slot, which you can see running up here where my finger is going. So that slot is what I just took this out of. And in order to glue, let's see if we can get this off here. In order to glue that to this piece of binding, we do it by placing the kerfing in the slot. This will go in here like this, okay, and then it will sit down in there. And then what we'll do next is we'll put the binding, we'll put glue on the edge of the binding and then put it on top of this, and then you saw the clamps. The clamps hold that down, and there it is. That piece is all glued to this. Now, it's all rough, so I will take a razor blade and I will simply scrape it along the edge. The next thing I will do is run this very gently through the thickness sander because I don't want to take it down a lot, but you can buy this already done for you, and it comes like this. It's all smooth, it's all glued, and you just simply take that, put it in the bender, however you're bending it, whether it's on a pipe, a hot pipe, or whether it's in a any kind of special bender. You just simply do that. You take that then and put it around the guitar. So that's how you make this. If you're making your own, you can buy it from the luthier supply houses. Believe me, they would love to sell you some. So we've come to that time where I've got to head out of here and get back to work. But before I do any more work, I think I deserve a cup of tea today. And let me tell you, this is particularly good today. This is the Yorkshire. It's not Yorkshire Gold, although I do have that upstairs. This is just straight Yorkshire decaf tea, and it's a delight. And you know, coffee drinkers, got to give your head a shake at some point. You got to get out of that rut you're in. And you remember, you just have to get yourself a cup of tea, and you'll probably find you don't want coffee anymore. You'll also probably find you don't want coffee any less. Anyway, there we go. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.